Okay, now we're going to move on to lesson 3, and we're going to learn to read eighth notes and eighth rest. Now, look there, a single eighth note is a quarter note with a little flag attached to it. And if you've got groups of 2 or 4 eighth notes, they'll be connected with a beam across the top. And in a typical 4/4 measure, they're played twice as fast as quarter notes, and you would count them 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And we got our little grid over here. You can see here are quarter notes. And under each quarter note, there are 2 eighth notes. So for every quarter note, you have 2 eighth notes. Now I'm going to play the first exercise on page 18. And the way we're going to learn to play eighth notes, I'm going to play just constant quarter notes with my right hand, and then I'll drop the eighth notes in with my left hand. So here we go, this exercise on page 18, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and they're your basic eighth notes. Now we also have right on this spot on this page a news flash that talks about repeat signs, and we're going to talk about this because you're going to start seeing repeat signs in the exercises. And basically a repeat sign you'll see at the end of the line, there's a double bar and a couple of little dots there. And that means you go back to the beginning of the line or the beginning of the piece of music unless there is what we call a forward repeat sign, which is the double bar with the 2 little dots on the other side. So if you have a piece of music with a forward repeat sign, you get to that what's called a backward repeat sign. You get to that point in the music, you go back to that forward repeat sign. If there's no forward repeat sign, you go all the way back to the beginning. So now we have some quarter note, eighth note combinations I'm going to play for you so you start learning how eighth notes work inside of quarter notes and 4/4 time. So here I'm going to play exercises 1 and 2. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. Now here's exercise number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, now look at exercise number 3. The time signature is in 2/4. That means we have 2 beats to each measure or bar. And pay close attention to the sticking. This is not just straight ahead alternating sticking, so pay real close attention to the sticking. Here's exercise number 3. 1, 2. 1 and 2. 1, 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1 and 2. 1, 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. 1, 2 and 1, 2 and. Okay? Now let's go on to exercise number 4. The time signature is 3/4. That'll be 3 beats in each measure. And again, look closely at the sticking. Okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. Now we're up to exercise number 5, and we're back in 4/4 time, and look at the repeat signs. At the end of the line, we have a backwards repeat sign, but in measure number 3, we have a forward repeat sign. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to play measures 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we're going to go back and play measures 3 and 4 again. So that's how the repeat signs work. So now I'll play exercise number 5 for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and and 2 and 3, 4. So that's basically how your repeat signs work. And we have lots more quarter and eighth note combos in the addendum we include with the book. So if this stuff is not crystal clear to you yet, get your addendums, go through all of those eighth and quarter combos we give you with the book. Now we're going to go on to eighth note and eighth rest combinations. And in the first exercise I'm going to play, measures 2 and measures 4 are all notes on the and with no notes played on the beat. And basically what you're doing is just dropping out your right hand in those measures. And to make it a little easier to learn, you can play your right hand in the air where the eighth rests are. And that's what I'm going to do. So here we go with exercise number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just like that. Now look at exercises 2 and 3, and there's a different combination in every measure. And at this point, you need to start seeing groups of notes instead of counting every individual eighth note, or what we call a rhythmic pattern. And think of them just like a word you would see, and you immediately know what that word sounds like. So practice each measure several times till you know that pattern, then go to the next measure. Eventually play the whole line. Now I'm going to play exercises 2 and 3, and I'll repeat each one time. Here we go. Exercise number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now here's exercise number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Lots of eighth notes rest. Now, let's go on to page 20. These are combinations of quarter notes and rest and eighth notes and rest. And I'm going to start with exercise number 2. And look at measure 2, and this is something from a news flash. That's called a repeat measure sign. And what that means is you're just going to repeat the previous measure. So anytime you see a repeat measure sign, you just play the measure that you just played. So here is exercise number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, now here is exercise number 4, and it is in 3/4 time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now, here's exercise 5 in 2/4 time, and look at measures 3 and 4. And that sign means to repeat the 2 previous measures. So you're going to play measures 1 and 2, and then you're going to play measures 1 and 2 again. So here we go with exercise number 5. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1 and 2 and 1, 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1 and 2 and 1, 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, 1, 2. So there, that shows you a 2-bar repeat sign. Now I'm going to skip down to exercise number 9, and I'll play this one straight down with no repeat. Here's exercise number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And that's a cool exercise because it included a little thing we called a syncopation down there toward the end. So we've got one more thing here in this lesson, and that would be dotted half notes and dotted quarter notes. And basically, when you place a dot after a note, it increases its value or duration by 1/2. So a dotted half note is equal in duration to 3 quarter notes. Now I'm going to play exercise 1 at the bottom of page 21. Measures 1 and 2 will sound exactly like measures 3 and 4, but they're written differently, incorporating some dotted notes. So here's exercise number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a basic dotted half note. Now, a dotted quarter note is equal in duration to 3/8 notes. So I'm going to play exercise number 2, and just like exercise number 1, measures 1 and 2 will sound exactly like 3 and 4, but they're written differently, incorporating dotted quarter notes. So here's exercise number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So there are some dotted quarter notes. And remember, there are addendums for all this stuff. If it doesn't make perfect sense to you, print out the addendums. There's lots more stuff for you to practice. This 8th note chapter is a lot of stuff. So you're going to need to practice a lot. Make sure you go through all those addendums and master those 8th notes. Have fun.